and welcome back to Let's Talk Chicago Bears. It's a Victory Monday, so bear down, Chicago Bears. Make every play, clear the way to victory. Bear down, Chicago Bears. Put up a fight with the might so fearlessly. They'll never forget the way you thrilled the nation with your T formation. Bear down, Chicago Bears. Let them know why you're wearing the crown. You're the pride and joy of Illinois. Chicago Bears, bear down. Yeah! Victory Monday! Hello, everyone. Welcome back to, as I said, Let's Talk Chicago Bears. All right, I got to get situated now, because I'm usually sitting when I start the show. So, hello. And yes, what a... I don't even know what to say, people. What a game that was, wasn't it? That was insane. The Bears won 47-42. Whoa. I mean, incredible. So, I aged 10 years yesterday. OMG, I'm not kidding. 10 years. In those last few minutes of that game, I had so much emotion. I was pissed. I was happy. I was frustrated. I was excited. I punched the wall. I bruised my pinky. It was quite a game, and we pulled out the victory. No matter how pretty or ugly it was, it doesn't matter, because you know what? A win is a win is a win. Remember that. And the best part of this yesterday was Green Bay and Detroit both lost. Yes! So when I saw that Detroit lost and Green Bay was losing, I'm like, Bears, you got to win this game, because now we're all clumped together. The Minnesota's behind us, but Green Bay is 5-2-1. Detroit is 5-3. We're 5-3. But Green Bay is 5-3 because a tie is a loss. Nowadays, it is. I'm telling you, that's going to bite them at the end. So, but wasn't that great? So, oh my goodness. Oh wow. This is a team that we have not seen in a very long time. And I got to tell you, I have a lot to talk about, so I'm going to get to it. But this just shows the character of the team we have. They never frickin' gave up. Just like in the Raiders game, they never gave up right to the end. Again, they should have beaten, these are teams they should beat, but boy, it sure took an awful lot for us to beat Cincinnati yesterday. And again, I was a little worried. And Flacco, listen, got to give props to Flacco. He had a bad shoulder. He's 40 years old. He's been with the team, only 4 weeks, something like that? And he threw for 440-something yards. So props to him. You got to give it to him, okay? But I want to bring up something first. First, I want to give a shout out to Andrew Billings, our D lineman. Yesterday was his 100th game. And I didn't realize his journey through the NFL. He came into the NFL in 2016, and oddly enough, he got his 100th game against the team that drafted him in 2016. Cincinnati drafted him. And in his rookie camp, he ended up hurting his knee in a group, a joint team practice with Minnesota. He was out for the rest of the year. And he said he did not do well. He was immature. He didn't handle it well, but he was very lucky that Cincinnati brought him back because he did have a good camp. And he was drafted, I think, in the 4th round. So he ended up playing in 2017, 15 games for Cincinnati. And then in 2020, he played for the Browns. He skipped actually that season with the Browns because of COVID. He opted out. Then in 2021, they waived him. He ended up on the practice squad for both Miami and Kansas City that year. Then in 2022, he joined the Raiders. And finally in 2023, he ended up on our team, and damn, aren't we lucky, because he's doing a really good job. And he showed up yesterday a few times. So congratulations to him. 100 games, not a shabby feat at all in the NFL to start. And I just wanted to give a shout out to all the players we missed yesterday. So Swift, I did a show Friday, and I had done it a little early, so they did not say who was in or out. And then Friday night, I found out that Swift and Johnson, our two running backs, were not going to play. Number 10, Burden, our wide receiver rookie, he didn't play. 90, Robinson, a D lineman, didn't play, and 45, Amen, a linebacker, didn't play. So we had a lot of guys out, and we know we had Gardner Johnson, number 35, who just signed with the team. I think it was Wednesday, or maybe it was Wednesday or Thursday, and he made an impact. So we're going to talk about that. But I just wanted to give that shout out about how many people were out to let you really know, the injury bug is just killing the Bears this year, isn't it? And we lost Cole Kmet yesterday, which sounds like a concussion. All right, before I get into the stats and all that stuff, got to give a shout out to the two rookies who really stood up and played yesterday. Because number 25, Kyle Mungai, I'm pretty close to saying it right, our rookie running back, he had 176 yards rushing and caught 3 passes for 22 yards. Is that not cool? I mean, yes, Cincinnati, I don't mean to, burst the bubble, but they were 31st or 32nd in rush on the defense. I mentioned Friday, but that's bad for them. But the fact that we gashed them for over 280 something, 283 total yards rushing, just says, okay, yeah, they're bad, but we got the yards, because it would have been embarrassing if the Bears played them, let's say they were 32nd in the league, because I think they were I can't remember how much they were giving up a game yards-wise, but they were bad. They were at the bottom, and if we wouldn't have done this, it would have been bad, but we took advantage of it. And here's a really cool thing. There's only 2 running backs in Bears history that have had 2 games of 26 rushing attempts and more than 175 yards rushing. Who is it? Walter Payton, number 34, the greatest, and now Kyle, number 25, Kyle Mungai, whatever. Congratulations, Kyle. Nice to be right up there with him. And I got to tell you, this kid played. Yes, the offensive line had a wonderful game. They should all get a game ball, because we're going to get into, but Cincinnati defense never gave up. Their role was to get in Williams' face and disrupt him, and they tried and tried and tried. They never stopped. And our offense, he was only sacked twice, and our offensive line did a great job, and the holes. But Kyle, he was in there, and he never went down. There was several times where it looked like he was going to, more than several times, it looks like he was going to go down after a couple yards, and the pile just kept going. So impressive. I like this guy. I know it was against a bad defense, but give him a lot of credit. The burden was on him, and he had Brown behind him, a guy that's been in the league a couple years, who was, average at best. He's 3rd or 4th on the chart, running chart, but you give him a lot. He didn't make any mistakes. Very, very impressive. Kudos to you. And in my opinion, he earns the start for next week. I know coaches have, you can't lose your job because you get hurt. Yes, but if he doesn't start, he better have the majority of the passes, because Bears, you got to find out if this was because we played a really bad team and he just took advantage of it, or this kid's got some talent. I believe he's got some talent, because Walter Payton, of course he's not, but he looked a little bit like him. And he even caught some passes. So kudos, man. And he deserved the game ball he got. And the second rookie who got a game ball, 84, Loveland, our tight end, especially after Cole went out in the second quarter hurt, he stepped up, 118 passes in the air and 2 touchdowns. Congratulations to him. I mean, freaking awesome. These two stepped up when they needed to, and they're rookies, and they just really did it. So I got really impressed by both of them. Both deserve the game ball, and I believe the offensive line all deserve a game ball in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. But at the end of the day, it was a team win again. I mean, this team, I gotta say, they have some character that I have not seen on this Bears team in a very, very long time. Okay, let's do a few stats. Total yards for the Bears, passing and running, 576 to 495 for Cincinnati. Crazy game. That's why the score what it was. We had a total yards of rushing, 283 yards rushing. When was the last time you heard me or any of us say that of the Bears? Cincinnati only had 46 yards rushing, which was really surprised me, but the Bears stopped it. So the Cincinnati gave up pretty quick because, the Bears defense is not good on the rush. They started to getting better, but I'm kind of surprised with Chase Brown in there and stuff. They didn't do it more, but they weren't getting anywhere, so they just decided to put it in Flacco's hands, and he almost won that game. So I can see why they did it. You'll see why right now. The Bears had 293 total yards passing. Cincinnati/Flacco had 449 yards in the passing area. Wow, that's insane. What a game. That doesn't say much for our defense, but we'll get into that later. In the red zone, we got a little bit better. We were 4 of 6. Third down conversion, we were 8 of 15. So not bad. Now, the time of possession, I don't talk about a lot, but I have in the past because it is extremely important. And look at this. We were almost 10 minutes on the field longer than Cincinnati. The Bears were 34.30 seconds, 34 minutes and 30 seconds to Cincinnati's 25 minutes and 30 seconds. So that shows you when you keep their offense off the field. Thank God we did, because every time it seemed like Flacco touched the ball, there was a score, right? So time of possession yesterday was huge. And like I said on Friday, keeping those 3 and outs on our offense was huge. I believe we only had 1, and just keeping their offense off the field was huge, and it showed. It really, really showed. For my threes, penalties, 5 or less, turnovers, at least 2, and 3 and outs, you want to keep them to 0 or 1. We won that battle, in my opinion. We had 7 penalties, still not acceptable. I'm not going to break them down this week, but I can tell you, because I did write them down, the penalties hurt us on both offense and defense yesterday, and we actually had more because there was at least 3 that were refused by Cincinnati because they already got the first down. So, but the penalties hurt the Bears yesterday. There's no doubt about it. And you got to have 5 or less. But they went in the right direction yesterday compared to the last 3 weeks. Last 3 weeks, they kept going up, 8, 9, 11. Or no, it was 8, 10, and 11. And so now they went back down to 7, but they have got to bring that back down. And there were a couple pre-snap penalties, and that's still a concern for the offense. So we've got to work on that, but way better. So we won my threes, and because turnovers, we had 3. And only 1 3 and out. So yes. And you see how huge turnovers. Well, yesterday, if we hadn't had those turnovers, Bears don't win that game. There's just no doubt about it. So let's get into our guys who we love right now tremendously. Man, was I happy. I was, you know what? I've been, you could tell I'm so excited. Anyways, Williams, our quarterback, he was 20 of 34. Not great, but not terrible. He did miss some passes. Again, overthrow, underthrows. Still got to worry about him, but we're not going to complain today. He had 280 yards in the air, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, which is huge. He was sacked only twice, and he rushed for 53 yards. So, again, Our offensive line, tremendous. Let me finish. Four people were quarterbacking yesterday for the Bears. It was so funny. Bage at number 17, 1 for 1, 20 yards. Moore, 1 for 1, 2 yards, and a touchdown to Williams. And Clement, our tight end, was 0 for 1. His pass was not completed. But, I mean, we're going to talk about the Bajent one a little bit. That was just great. But the offensive line helped with all that. I mean, they were under attack the entire day, and I don't know what they're saying in Illinois, but I certainly hope somebody brings it out because they were under fire the entire game, and they did their best. Yeah, he had to run out of the pocket a few times, this and that, of course, because he did have, 53 yards rushing, but he was, they did, I think, a great job. I really, really do. Our rush game, as I said, number 25, a rookie Kyle Amungai, 176 yards on the ground. Williams, our quarterback, had 53, as I was saying. The fourth running back on the team, number 38, Brown, 37 yards with a rushing touchdown. And Moore had 17 yards on the ground. In the air, as I mentioned earlier in the show, I gave him kudos. Number 84, Loveland, our rookie tight end, really stepped up and showed finally why he was picked number 1, because I still scratch my head on that one, why they picked a tight end as their first in the top 10 pick. I don't know, but we saw some yesterday. I want to see this kid catapult from this game on now. Okay, you got the feel for it. Let's do it. But congratulations to him. He also got a game ball. So he had 118 yards in the air and 2 touchdowns. Moore had 72 yards in the air, 14 OZ, 58 yards with a touchdown. Williams had 22 yards in the air, a touchdown. And Kyle Amungai, as I said, our rookie, had 22 yards in the 22 yards passing. So awesome. I mean, everybody who touched that ball yesterday made a difference. Wasn't it the truth? And it's just awesome to be able to have all these guys step up and do it because we needed it. Because our defense, which we're going to talk about in a minute, was bad. There's some bright spots, but they gave up 42 yards, 42 points. They gave up almost 500 yards, 449 in the air, and 46 on the ground, so close. You can't win games like that in the NFL if you keep doing that. And they did it one other time, and I kept starting to think about Detroit, but we didn't score in Detroit. We kept up. Come the fourth quarter, I said to myself, it's one of those games. Whoever has the ball last wins the game, and almost happened because we scored that last touchdown, and then 26, on that Hail sort of Mary, which wasn't even close. We got an interception, but it was offense to offense, wasn't it? Doom, 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 up and down the field, up and down the field. It reminded me of a game, and I think it was in 208. 2008, and we played Minnesota in Soldier Field. I was at that game with my sister and a couple friends, and it was one of those games, and I believe the game ended 47-49, and the Bears won. And every time the offenses touched the ball, they went down and scored. You couldn't even get up to go to the bathroom in that game. So it reminded me of that game, and I'm pretty sure it was in 2008. But the only good thing about watching it on TV is I could pause, because otherwise you couldn't get up to go to the bathroom or anything yesterday. Anyways, defense. So they had 3 sacks, which was a good thing. And our new guy, 35, Gardner Johnson, had a sack. Sweat had a sack again, another sack. I think that puts him up to 4. And 94, Booker was back, and he had a sack. Have I not been screaming for Booker the whole season? And he made a difference yesterday. He didn't play a super lot on the line. He was on special teams, but when he was in there, he made a difference. He had that sack, so I'd like to see him get in there more and more. We had 2 interceptions, and the one was huge. The second one was at the end of the game, but it doesn't matter. An interception is an interception. So 49 Edmonds had it in the fourth quarter when they were driving again. And he got that all-important interception. Although 2 or 3 plays earlier, 31 Bard, our wonderful guy in the backfield, had an interception, but penalty brought it back, and Cincinnati got it. So I told you, penalties did hurt the Bears, and this was a good one. I was so pissed. I'm like, oh my God, see? I was freaking out. I was yelling. I was running around upstairs. And then 3 plays later, Edmonds gets the very, very important interception. That one, I think, saved the day for the Bears defense. And then number 26 at the end of the game got his interception. So, Edmonds, this guy, number 49, has been playing lights out this season. Lights out. I'm not kidding. I don't know if you noticed it, and he's been leading the team with tackles. There was one fumble recovery by number 99, Dexter Sr. Those are our 3 turnovers. And quarterback hits, there were 5. Now, I've told you, if you can't get in there and sack him, get in his face, hit him, disrupt him. And they did. They had 5 of them, and that's wonderful. Number 35, the new signee, Gardner Johnson again, had a quarterback hit. 94, Booker. My man, 98 Sweat, thank you for showing up again. And number 55, linebacker Deo, and number 92, Hardy. And they all got in his face and hit him, and that's what we want to do. Because you could see the way Flacco was playing, nothing was going to much stop this guy. So if we didn't get those hits and those sacks, who knows what would happen. So it was huge. So congratulations, nice. Those were the few bright spots on the defense because it was bad. Tackle-wise, again, Edmonds led yesterday with 14 tackles between solo and assists. 29, Stevenson backfield had 12 tackles, and number 35, Gardner Johnson, had 11. So Gardner Johnson signs, I told you last week on Friday's show that he signed, I think, Wednesday. He's been all over the place. He's a problem child, but he had played with Dennis Allen for over 3 years. So I think that's why the Bears went after to sign him and said maybe Dennis Allen can reel him in and tell him, listen, knock that shit off, because that's why. Where did he come from? Who just released him? Was it Texas? I think it was. Texas got him in the beginning of the year, and they released him after 3 games because he was having problems with the coaches. They were butting heads. So, but he showed up, and for a guy who'd been on the team 4 days, look what he did. So, you know what? Props to him. He might have missed a couple tackles here and there, but he made a difference in other ways. So welcome to the team. Leave your attitude at the door, which I'm sure they told you, and just let's win, because we need help in the backfield, and he helped. So well done. So as I said, there were some bad things in this game, and obviously the defense giving up 449 yards passes was one of them. They did stop the run. I'm kind of surprised that Cincinnati didn't try more, but we did stop it, so they decided give up, let Flacco have it. The secondary is hurting, as we know that, and it showed yesterday. There were so many wide open guys. I just couldn't believe it. Yeah, we're missing Gordon and JJ, but seriously, Brisker, I saw him a few times up by the line of scrimmage, but I didn't see him. I think he was 4th on, because I only gave you the top 3 tacklers. I think he was 4th in top tackles, but the backfield looked really sad yesterday. There was guys wide open that, man, I could have hit. I could have thrown it, hit him, But this is what I was saying on Friday's show, that the defensive line and the linebackers really, really had to step up because the backfield is so beat up and hurt, and where guys are out. So if the defensive line could get in there and knock down passes or cause problems, that he can't get the passes off or he can't get them long passes off, it makes a difference. Same with the linebackers. I think they did the best they could, which wasn't very good. But at the end of the day, the Bears won. And in the NFL, as Ben Johnson said yesterday, and I've heard this a million times from coaches, it's very hard to win in the NFL. Whether it's a pretty win or ugly, a W is a W is a W at the end of the day. Bears are 5-3, and that's all that matters. So moving forward, of course, the defense has got to get their shit together, because you can't play like that week in, week out. I've told you we have a pretty tough schedule coming up. So, and we're going to talk about that, but we do. Next week we have the Giants, and then after that it's Minnesota. And then I want to say Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, then Cleveland's in there, and then we play Green Bay, 49ers, Green Bay, and Detroit. I think that's how it goes. So a lot of tough games coming up. So every win is important. Just pick them up and stack them up, right? Again, I want to be 500 at the end of the season. That's what I'm going for. I know a lot of people want to go to the playoffs. I get it. I don't think it's going to happen. As you can see, you can't give up 42 points to a team that's not very good. But they did. Anyways, so, and that onside kick, I just knew something bad was going to happen because that guy kept saying on TV, who those two announcers annoyed the shit out of me. I don't know about anybody else, but they said, "Oh, the percentages are so low, blah 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 blah." And then what happens? The ball hits number 92 Hardy in the foot. It's Cincinnati's ball. I knew it. I think that's when I hit the wall and bruised my pinky finger. But it really wasn't Hardy's fault because had he not touched that ball, it would have been Bears' ball because it didn't go 10 yards. So, but it really wasn't. He was trying to make a play and it just nipped his top toe. So, what are you going to do? That's the way the ball bounces. Boom, boom. So, but I was just like, are you kidding me? I was just like, that's why I was like, okay, game's over. I mean, I'm sure a lot of us at that point thought that because you're like, okay, nobody gets an onside kick and then they do by just a sure wrong place, wrong time for a second. You know what I mean? But don't matter. We won. And I talked about the penalties. We're not going to talk about them anymore because we won. But I don't like them. And, if it wasn't for our defense, our offense, they would have hurt us. Well, they hurt themselves with them too, but let's not get into it. But the trick plays were so fun yesterday. There were several of them, but my favorite one was when I was watching this one where the Bagent one throws it back to Williams. I was like, I'm looking and I'm like, is that Bagent lining up? I know Cincinnati did not pick up on it. I was like, is that him? And I'm like, no, I'm sure I saw wrong, which I was going to rewind, but I was like, no. And then when I saw what happened, and I could be wrong about this, but this is how I say the play went, but I read about it, and that's not what they said. So the ball's snapped to Williams, and I thought he handed it to Moore, who tossed it to Bagent, number 17, who threw the pass to Williams and got the first down. I mean, wasn't that awesome? And I'm sure Cincinnati did not realize the backup quarterback was lining up as a wide receiver. It was so fun, and look what it produced. I mean, fun, and we got a first down on it. So, we know Ben Johnson has got a bag of tricks, and he's starting to show them. And as long as they work, I don't care. Sometimes I don't like the tricks because I always remember, always what John Madden used to say. And if you're old like me, you remember because he, one of the best sportscasters ever, said, teams that do trick and gimmick plays, mostly gimmick plays as he was talking about. These are tricks, they're a little bit different, but gimmick plays do them because they're bad and they can't get yards on the regular way, the old-fashioned way, So not quite the same, but I always have that in my head from John Madden. So trick plays to me, I'm like, ooh, I get real nervous, but I got to tell you, they both worked yesterday. There was 2 of them for sure. There might have been more. I don't know. There was so much about this game, so because I'm like, God, I could talk all day about it, but that was just awesome, wasn't it? I mean it. And again, I you can't stress how important that rush game is. I talk about it every show. You know that. The things I talk about the most are penalties, the run game, the O-line, the D-line. I mean, I talk about those always, but really the rush game is so important. And if we can get that going. Now, we've had 3 or 4 weeks solid runs. Last week, we had 99 yards between the guys. So that wasn't a great week, and we lost the game. See, you got to have well over 100 yards in rushing to win a game, and last week showed you. Right. So, and again, the O-line, the O-line all stepped up in their jobs, and they showed. And I got to tell you, it really helped out the D because the O-line, the O-line did a great job. Let me step back. I'm getting all... See how it's all, I got so much stuck in my head. Everything's in my head. And, when you're 67 and I got a lot on my mind as it is, there's no room for all of this. So I'm not kidding. Anyways, O-line, again, I love you. You did a fantastic day. They helped with the rush, and they helped protect 18, our quarterback. But what I was going to say is the offensive team all stepped up. Every damn one of them stepped up because defense needed it. The defense did not have a good day, so what happens? The offense stepped up and said, we'll take it from here. How many times have we seen one way or the other? The defense shows up, the offense doesn't. The offense shows up, the defense. It's been years of that. Yesterday, they picked each other up, and they all played. I guess they like to call it complimentary football. I don't know if you'd call that with a 47-42 score, but they did. They did their job. And at the end, Williams, again, how many games has he showed us where he's had an okay game? He's still gotten some issues about underthrowing and overthrowing. I mean, I'm shocked that Rome did not catch one pass yesterday. Aren't you guys? I mean, shocked. Now, there was one low one I thought Rome could catch, but he was targeted only a couple times, so they were really going after him. So, because he's the league leader, the team leader in that. So he had nothing, but the other guy stepped up and took it over. But at the end of the game, again, Williams stayed, cool, calm, and took us right down and scored that last touchdown. I mean, the Bears were hoping just to tie the game up with no, it wouldn't have tied the game up, would it? I can't remember. They were just hoping for a field goal. And then number 84, Loveland runs in all the way for a touchdown. Wasn't that beautiful? Oh my God, congratulations. But we got to give Caleb Williams. I know a lot of people were on his ass last week back in Illinois and on social media, which is wrong. Again, this guy is still learning. He is very, very young. And to do what he's been doing and staying cool, you got to give him a lot of credit. He stayed in there. And again, I'm going to repeat myself, that defensive line of Cincinnati was after him all afternoon. And it showed a few times, but he didn't turn the ball over. And he when it counted, he took us down the field every time we needed it, and we came back with a victory. So, you know what? The only thing I gotta say is, and I get why they don't want their quarterback. There's a couple things here about him, the Bears. They don't want to, but number one, I always wonder why they don't do the quarterback sneak when there's like this much to go, and they never do it. I've never seen them do it yet with him. So maybe they don't want to go that route, starting to get into that habit because you don't want them hurt. But yesterday, several times, the middle of the field was wide open. And instead of running, he could have gotten several times 15, 20, 25 yards. He threw the ball. Sometimes it was caught, and sometimes it wasn't. But there were several times where I believe there was incompletions where he had plenty of room to run up the field. So I don't know if that's just they're telling him, listen, we want you to be a passing quarterback. You run if you have no other decisions. I don't know where that's coming from, if it's, learning, from the coaches or what. But yesterday there were some opportunities there that Williams could have taken off easily and gotten a first down. So, but again, we won. So, okay. But there's other games and better teams. Special teams is still a bit of a worry for me. It has been most of the season. There have been some misses on field goals. One was blocked yesterday. He's had several blocked now. He's got to worry about that. When they're getting blocks, in my opinion, that means his trajectory is too low and they can block him. He's got to get that thing higher. But that first play of the game, I'm sure every one of you were thinking the same thing. I'm like, oh my God, this game is already over. That's what I thought immediately. You let the special on kickoff, first guy that touches it runs back untouched for a touchdown. I'm thinking, oh God, here's the tone of the game. I just knew it. I was just like, I thought it was going to be a wipeout. I did that, but they came back. But I have been worried, and not just because of this, but they give up a lot of yards. Although most teams are now with the new kicking rule. I know it's different, but they're not getting down there fast enough. We don't have enough fast guys. And sometimes on the punting, our punter yesterday, Taylor, he had one really good punt that went for like 60 something yards, and it put him down on the 15. It started on the 15-yard line, but our coverage team couldn't make it to the guy, so we ended up getting probably to the 25, I think. Well, still wasn't bad, but you got to get down there, guys. So they got to work on that more. They need to get down there, and they need to make these blocks. They cannot give on the first play of the game a touchdown. Okay, it happened again. We won. So, okay, but in futures, you can't do that. Right, guys? You can't. So, Bears, obviously they have things to work about. They're going to look at the film today, and they're going to be like, ooh. The defense is probably going to be like watching the game like this. Looking around the room. Don't look at me. Offense is going to be like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, But they're going to work on things. They're going to come back. But this team, at the end of the day, just shows there's character on this team, and it's building each week in and out. There's strength and there's brotherhood, and it has showing each week. It's getting better and better. These guys aren't giving up for each other. They are playing. And when was the last time we've seen a Chicago Bears team play like these guys are playing? I mean, it's been a very, very long time on all aspects, defense, offense, and special teams, well, whatever. But they just did. Offense picked up the defense, and the defense has picked up the offense in other games. So they just did not give up. And you know what? Last year, after that Washington game, we were 4-2. And then after that Washington game, we lost 10 games, and we won the last game to Green Bay. But everybody gave up last year. I don't care what anybody says who was on that team. They did. And of course, the coaches sucked. I get it, but they did. This team, Ben has got these guys playing. Are they perfect? Far from it. They have a lot of things to do. We need, in the off season, we got to work on that D-line. We got to get, depth in our backfield. But the Bears are doing what they should be doing with a new coaching regime and a lot of new players. Each week they're fixing things, and they're getting better and better. And that's what this year is all about. Yes, we want them to go, but they've got too many issues now. If they keep going, it's different, but they've got a lot of tough games, guys. So, if they just got such heart and soul. I love them. I just love them. And I was so happy. We're 5-3. Okay. So a little bit. As of now it could change, but you know what? I'm going to say, you know what? I'll just get up really early. I'll do my show Friday. I think I'm having with all, the reason I'm saying this is because with all the airport problems going on, my sister was just here a week ago, and my two brothers and their wives are coming in this coming weekend to Vegas for us to be together. We're all over the country, and we try to see each other once or twice, at least once a year, because we're the elders in this family. We have nobody else. My brother's 73, 70, I'm 67, and then the Martini baby is 49 or 48. 48. And so we call her the Martini baby. Figure that out. So we're getting together. But I'll do a show Friday because I want to talk about the Giants. That's who we're playing next. Another team that's under 500 but cannot be taken lightly. They actually beat Cincinnati last week 39-38. So Cincinnati is I heard that there was a lot of uproar in that locker room yesterday, which you can't blame them. I'm sure people were pissed because we would be pissed if it were on the other way around, and they lost 2 games extreme where their quarterback scored 38 points and 42 points, and they lost. I mean, remember those days? Yeah, we do. But now, and that was the other thing yesterday. It was kind of a joy to see some of the penalties going in our way. That's something we haven't had this year. Remember I told you on Friday's show how the Bears had the most, the second, whatever, most, or was it the most, penalties per play or whatever, and opponents were second to lowest. And we had been flagged for, 500 and something yards, 533 yards prior to yesterday's game. And so when some of those penalties happened to Cincinnati, I'm like, I was texting my son because we text a million times during the game. I said, first of all, see how damaging penalties are, and look, now they're finally working in our favor. Wasn't that a little refreshing? Okay, this is a super long show, but who cares? We won! Yeah! And Dallas and Detroit. I mean, Dallas and Lynn. Green Bay and the Lions lost. So this is great. Our whole division is right there. So it's right there for the taking. So Bears, enjoy this win today. Fans, enjoy this win today. They got to get back in, put their caps on get back on Wednesday. Let's keep everybody healthy. Let's forget about all those yards and let's focus on the Giants, right? But what a game, and it's just huge. It's so much better being 5-3 than 4-4. And I don't know if you guys saw George McCaskey at the last seconds of the game. It's going around on the internet and stuff. Oh, his reaction was awesome. So, congratulations, Bears, and really so proud of you. I really am. And you know what, Bears fans? Let's just keep going, baby. Okay, baby. This old lady is happy. So, I'm going to end the show because I've been going on way too long. Sorry. As always, first of all, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Tell everybody, you know what, I'm here always the day after a game and the Friday before a show. Before the next game, so I'll be here Friday. And as always, just love one another. Stick together. We have to get through these tough times. Times are really tough out there. So watch think before you speak. Just help people. Let's just be kind. It's so much easier to be nice and smile than be mean and grumpy. Because it gives you wrinkles and then it gives you a double chin. And nobody wants a double chin. So anyways, thanks again. Be kind. I love you guys. And one hell of a victory. Bears, you go Bears. And as always, keep on rocking and rolling from Vegas, baby.